Beautiful day in the woods today, don't you think? Well, come on then. It's just right up this tree. Are you a good climber? Hold on tight and watch out for splinters. So here we are in the art room treehouse. It's a great place to clear your head and think about art. And speaking of treehouses, we're going to be making our own treehouse picture using some watercolors, some cardboard, and some other things. So, welcome back to the art room. I'm really glad you could make it today. Okay, welcome back to the art room. After all that, aren't those beginnings getting crazy? I think I got a rope burn on my leg coming down out of the treehouse. But anyway, what a great way to show a treehouse, and we're going to be building one out of cardboard and paper here in a minute, and I'll show you exactly what I did with mine. As you can see, I've kind of got a couple of collage elements here that we will show you at the end if you want to put some people in your treehouse. So let's get started with ours. So I've got a piece of 12 by 18 white paper, but if you don't have 12 by 18, work on a regular size paper. Whatever you've got will just be fine. And I've got a piece of scrap paper here, and these are our familiar chalk pastels that we've been using all along. So what I'm going to do is get as much chalk dust on my scrap paper by coloring around here, around and around, getting a lot of dust there. And I'm going to put a couple of different colors here just to kind of have a little variation in my sky here. Okay, I got 3 nice blues. If you just have one blue, that'll be fine. Here's a piece of a napkin, and I'm just going to rip off a bit of it, and I don't need the whole thing. I want a nice little wad of napkin. I'm going to roll up, make a nice little ball out of it. Then I'm going to dunk my napkin into these areas of chalk dust. And what I want to do is be kind of free with my sky, the setting for our tree house. And I'm going to just lay down some marks with it. It's just a wonderful way to make a sky, and I'm pressing down hard sometimes and not so hard, and keep it random like that. Isn't that beautiful already? Make some little holes here and there. Get some more chalk dust, and try to just do something that's going to be fun and sort of random here. That's what clouds are. They're always random. And have fun with it. And I'm going to come all the way down here, kind of keeping a nice, kind of a neat angle on my clouds as I go. And you may need some more chalk dust from time to time. I think I'm going to get a little bit more chalk dust going there, and keep on going. So back to my paper towel, and oh yeah, that's lovely. And all the way down here towards the end. Just kind of a nice way to do a sky, don't you think? A really easy way to do a sky. Okay. Hey, and that's it for the sky. Okay, well, we've established a really nice sky background, so the next thing we want to try to do is do some trees. And I've got my trusty watercolor set here. Actually, mine's more of a tempera paint set, but your little watercolor set will be fine. What I'm going to do is get my brush, and I'm going to wet the brown down and kind of get it soft here. I'm going to just kind of get a lot of water on that. And I've got my water in a cereal bowl here. I'll show you why I've done that too in a second. And I'm really softening up my black and my brown, and while I'm here I'm going to also soften up my my green rather, and my yellow, and I might even want to soften up that orange area there. Okay, yeah, get everything kind of nice and ready to go here. I'll show you what we're going to do with our paper towel here in a second. So Okay, another piece of little paper towel here, and what I'm going to do is just make a wad out of it. And this is a terrific way to make some tree trunks. And I'm just going to make a ball out of my paper towel. I'm going to get it a little bit wet in my water. That's why I'm using a cereal bowl, because I can reach in there without, you know, getting my hands around a glass or anything like that. And I'm going to get some brown on my paper towel and some black here. See what I've done? Getting kind of a nice foundation of brown and black. And I'm going to pick a direction. I don't want to be too straight. I want to be a little bit interesting. And I'm going to make a big swipe with my paper towel all the way down my paper, like that. And I'm going to try to make it a little thicker at the bottom, because all these kids are going to be climbing up my tree here pretty soon, so I want to make sure that it's strong enough to support them well. Okay. And yeah, isn't that great? Okay, this is really a great way to make a tree trunk, because it's got kind of this nice variation in color as you're going. Okay, and let's make one of those sort of double-sided tree trunks here. So I'm going to come over here and do another part of my tree trunk here, like that. Okay, and I think a little more black would be better. People think of trees as being brown. They're a little bit brown, but they're mostly gray. Well, that's what I think. Oh, there we go, a little bit more. Yeah, a little darker tone in there. Okay. All right, and that's going to do it for my two main tree trunks. So if you have a paintbrush, I hope you do. If you have a watercolor set, chances are you might have a paintbrush. And I'm going to start off with that same mix and make some main branches that we can build a tree house on. And I'm going to just come out here, let's see, I'm going to come out from my tree and just go like that. Okay, that'll be like my first part of my tree. Make a branch, get in there again. How about over here we'll do one. Do you notice that it's a really good way to do tree limbs is to start outside the tree, because if you pull down just a little bit, you can gradually increase the pressure on your brush and make your tree limb appear thicker. So you always want that look of going from thin into thick, like that. Oh, that's lovely. Okay. Okay. How you doing with yours? Okay, I hope. And we'll do some more. Kind of keep them, you know, as we always say, nature is a very random thing, so keep them kind of random like that. And away I go, still doing more. This will be a fancy one. This one's kind of curving around the tree and then coming back here and joining in, like that. Maybe another little piece there. Okay. Trees are really fun to paint. I just love doing trees. And so if you do a little bend here, when you make some of these branches, that'll give you a nice place to hook in other branches. Let's do that again here. See if I put a kind of a bend there. Good sound effects. And if I want to, then that gives me a really good chance to bring in a limb where that one took the bend, if you know what I mean by that. So okay, alright, gonna do a couple more of these, keep making some limbs. Nice place for kids to put some lumber on here in a minute for their tree house. Just trying to create a kind of a neat looking tree here. Okay, how about up here too? Alright, and then maybe a downward branch there. Yeah, just have fun with it. And branching off here and there. Okay. So if you have a smaller paintbrush, you're lucky. I do, because I'm in the art room here. So if you don't, you could use a little black marker for this part, for some, you know, some smaller branches that are coming off of these larger branches here. And once again, if you put some bends and turns in your original branches, it makes it kind of nice. You can add those other branches to them, like that, and some little branches like that. Just going to add a whole bunch of them here. Okay. And the more little branches you add, the more realistic your tree ends up becoming. And I'm going to add some little tiny ones here with my small brush, like that. Oh, that's great. Okay. And I've got kind of a different little blend of browns and blacks here for a lot of my branches, and it's kind of a nice variation to have some different ones, different blends of those two colors. And just go a little bit more here. And if one looks a little bit stiff, try to make it look a little more graceful. If you have any stiff ones, stiff looking branches. Okay. All right, I am convinced. Maybe one more up here might be good. A couple more up here where we're kind of leaving the paper. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's going to do it for part one of our tree and background. So when we come back here in a second, I'm going to let this dry just for a moment, and then we're going to come back and do some leaves before we get out our lumber for our tree house. Hey, so I've let a few minutes go by just to kind of let our tree trunk dry up, and now's my favorite part. It's the part where we get to do some tree foliage and leaves and so forth. So going back to my paper towel again, and this time I'm going to go with a little bit smaller bit, you know, a little bit more like that, and not quite as big a piece, I think. And we had you get your yellow and green kind of wet there, maybe a little orange, so those should be kind of soft that we can dab into them a bit. So I'm going to get my little paper towel there a little bit wet in the cereal bowl, and the first color I'm going to lay down is kind of a brown green mix on my little paper towel here, and just going to have it in here like that, and I'm going to pick some areas to put some leaves in. Isn't that cool? Just kind of stick them down like that and get some foliage going. Brown and green mixed together. Come over here. You don't even really have to have your leaves hook onto any specific branches. Nobody's going to notice that. And leave a lot of airspace in your individual leaves if you can. And just kind of, I'm going to twist this around a little bit so I don't always get, you know, the same kind of thing. And sometimes it's fun to have some little outlying leaves there. So just going to go ahead and add some leaves up here. From our picture, it kind of looks like, you know, maybe it's turning fall here, I would guess, by the way things are looking here. And adding these where I just think they ought to go. It's up to me. I'm the art guy around here. Oh, and that one kind of turned a little bit more green, and that's okay. We're going to be adding some green too, but just get a nice variation of leaves. Alright, now I'm going to come in and get some yellow and some orange, and I'm going to go right on top of some of the things I've done just to give a nice little color variation to my leaves. Oh, I like that. That makes it kind of rich looking. We definitely kind of have a fall vibe going now. And when I've got this on my brush here, my paper towel, I'm going to put some kind of a grassy hill down here, I think. I'll place, just kind of, you can kind of just see like the top of a hill down here where our tree is kind of growing out of there. Okay, I think I'll throw a little brown in that too. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's our tree. So it's time to move on to the next part, our wood. I'm going to set my tree aside here for a minute, and what I'm going to do is get a piece of cardboard. This is just an old Amazon box, just a chunk. And you can make as much wood as you want to. I've got a black crayon and a brown crayon and a yellow crayon. And what I'm going to do then is start coloring with the side of my crayon. And I'm going to see if I can make something that kind of looks like wood here. And yeah, we need a lot of wood for our tree house. We've got big plans. So, just going to color that in. Picks up those corrugations really nicely, doesn't it? And, alright, now I'm going to come through here with some brown. I like these kind of lines, but with the brown I'm going to go back and forth like this. So it's got kind of a wood grain thing going on, like that. Making it look like wood here with my brown crayon. Oh, that's very good. So I'm going to warm it up a little bit with my yellow, and this will give it kind of a really nice, kind of an oaky wood tone, like maybe it's oak or some other wood like that we can build from. Okay. Well, if you don't think it looks like wood much, we're going to cut it up here in a minute. I'll show you why we're doing all this. So that's some pretty good looking wood there, I would have to say. Okay, so let's get our scissors and we'll start cutting this into some boards with our scissors. So I'm going to make them you know, about that thick. They're about a half-inch thick. Some of them can be bigger and some of them can be skinnier. You're going to end up cutting up some of these anyway, and those are going to be our pieces of wood. That's our lumber there for building. So just going to keep cutting these up like that. Okay, looking good here. And when I get to the end, I'm going to save some pieces that are kind of big chunks of wood. I may want some, I can always go back and make more wood if I want to, but these are going to be kind of my my big bits that I may need these for, like a, you know, big part of the clubhouse, or maybe a window opening or something like that. And okay, so we are, oh, look at all this lumber we've got here. This is great. Okay, lots of wood there. All right, let's get our piece of paper back again. Things are drying up nicely, so I can decide, you know, I want the kids in my block to be able to get up the tree house, so, and I'm going to start adding some steps for my kids to go up here. Let's see, that'll be one right there. And, you know, once again, we want our steps to look like kids made them. And that's why we're kind of doing this sort of little bit crooked thing here. A couple more steps and it'll lead me up to my main platform. Oh yeah, I like that. And maybe one more little step. Okay, so I'm thinking right about here for my main platform for my first part of the tree house. So I'll get some glue going on that and set that right about there. Okay, great. These big pieces that we talked about when we made them, I'm going to draw a little doorway here, and I'll show you what to do with that. I'm going to take my marker here and make a line like that, and then I'm going to make a line straight down like that. And let's grab our scissors and cut that apart here. Okay, so once I've got that, then I can open up my door, and you know, I might want to show somebody inside my clubhouse here. So let's glue that down. All right, I'll stick that over there. That'll be a little more interesting. Okay, so that's kind of my first platform. I think I'll make another platform down here. These are, you know, maybe the kids that don't want to climb that high, and you know, they're a little bit happier just being lower to the ground. They're not daredevils or anything. So let's do one there. And then, so the whole thing looks a little more realistic. We need to have some kind of supporting pieces, some supporting structures. So I'm going to chop these and make some little thinner bits so I can prop things up a little bit better here. Making it up as you go, isn't that the fun part about art? You never know where it's going to take you next. And that looks like I could, yes, that's supporting that bit there. And at this point, I'm just going to go into super speed. Some other things, some little nice little details. I've got my marker, and I'm going to put some nails on my wood here. See what I'm doing? And making it look like somebody has nailed these pieces onto the tree. And I'm just going to go around after my glue dries a little bit better and do some nail holes. Make it look like the kids brought their nails. And, you know, don't be too careful with where you put those either, because these kids aren't very careful. I mean, they mean well and everything. They're just not real good at doing things precisely. So there we go. Love it, love it. We're coming to the end of our tree house. So some great ideas. I printed up, maybe you can get an adult to help you with this. I didn't want to cut into my family album, so what I did was print a bunch of these little Mr.Shays and Frankies onto a sheet, and we're out of ink with our color printer right now. We usually are. So I rubbed chalk dust on top of them to make them look like they're in color. And then here's a Mr.Shay here that I colored in, and he's all panicked about something going on in the treehouse. I could stick him like maybe right in there. You know, Mr.Shay's at the treehouse, and maybe I'll stick him. Yeah, I like that because I got another little spot. And here's my Frankie. So Frankie's back in here. I'll stick him back in here. Maybe I'll stick his head up. Oh yeah, there he is. He's looking up out of that part of the treehouse. And I had a magazine on my table, and I got some other great ideas. I could cut out Tom Hanks and put him in there someplace. Love Tom Hanks. I could stick him. He's in the treehouse someplace. And maybe, you know, this couple. Here's a cute little girl. I could stick her up here doing something. I love this guy. Stick him in, or maybe even Puss in Boots is up there somehow. And you would call that a collage then at that point if you had a bunch of things like that. Some final ideas for you. I've always got my string out on my table, and what I've done is cut out a tire out of construction paper, and I could make a tire swing, you know, have that stuck on so the kids can play on their tire. And then here it is. So I also made a little hammock, a little piece of our wood here, and I just stuck that onto a piece of string, and that would be kind of fun to have, like a, you know, where could you put your hammock where you're kind of you know, maybe over here somewhere I could lay in a hammock. You get the idea. And it's really relaxing to get out there in your treehouse and enjoy your hammock. Okay. All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up our treehouse picture. That was a real treat for me. I love that one. And I hope you had a good experience with yours too. So, once again, we always say this, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, you got something to be proud of because you're an artist. Never lose that. Always keep that with you. And we'll see you back here next time in Mr. Shay's Art Room.